Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in life when we face challenges that seem insurmountable, when the weight of the world presses down on us and we feel utterly alone. But in those very moments, God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating a divine plan to protect us. You may not always see it, but God sends His angels to watch over us, to shield us from harm, and to guide us on the path He has laid before us. Angels are not just myths or stories. They are real, spiritual beings sent by God to fulfill His purposes. They are messengers of His love, protection, and strength. When we're going through trials, feeling vulnerable, or battling fear, God sends angels to guard us. They are there in the unseen realm, doing what we cannot do for ourselves, standing at the ready to intervene at just the right moment. Have you ever had that feeling that someone is watching over you, or perhaps you've escaped danger in the nick of time? That's not by chance or luck. It's the hand of God using His angels to protect you. Even in the midst of your darkest hour, when you're overwhelmed by life's circumstances, know that God is never absent. He is present, actively working to protect you. He sends His angels to stand guard over your life, to give you strength when you feel weak, and to deliver you when the enemy seeks to destroy. Consider the times when you've been faced with danger or uncertainty, yet there was a sense of peace that overcame you. A knowing deep within your spirit that God was in control. That peace is often a sign that God has dispatched His angels to protect you. In Psalm 91:11 it says, "For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." This promise is not just for the saints of old. It's for you and me today. God is still sending His angels to keep watch over us. The protection God provides through His angels doesn't mean we won't face trials or struggles. It means that even in the midst of those trials, He is with us. His angels are working on our behalf, making sure we are never truly alone. They shield us from harm, they bring comfort when we're hurting, and they fight battles that we can't see. God's angels don't just protect us from physical danger, they also guard our hearts and minds. They help us stand strong in our faith when the world tries to pull us away. They strengthen us when we are tempted to give up, reminding us that we are not alone. And they whisper words of encouragement, helping us to rise above fear and discouragement. If you find yourself in a moment of fear or doubt today, remember this: God has sent His angels to protect you. You are not walking this journey alone. Trust that the divine protection of God is surrounding you, guarding your every step, and leading you toward a future filled with His hope and purpose. Keep your eyes on Him and trust that the angels He sends are there, fighting for you and leading you to victory. Hold fast to His promises, knowing that the God who sends His angels to protect you will never leave you nor forsake you. You are safe in His care. In times of hardship, when the world seems overwhelming and the weight of our struggles feels too heavy to bear, it's easy to feel isolated and unprotected. We often wonder where God is in our moments of deepest need. But even when we can't see Him, He is always at work. And one of the ways He cares for us is by sending angels to protect us. Angels are not just abstract or mythical figures. They are real, divine beings specifically created by God to watch over us and safeguard us from unseen dangers. In fact, God dispatches them to act on His behalf, providing us with protection in ways that we often don't even realize. Angels are often at work in the most critical moments of our lives. When we face physical danger, when our hearts are heavy with anxiety or fear, or when we feel spiritually vulnerable, angels are God's appointed protectors. It's important to understand that divine protection is not merely about keeping us from harm, but also about helping us navigate through trials with strength and resilience. In Psalm 91:11, it says, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." This powerful verse reminds us that we are never alone in our struggles. God promises to send his angels to watch over us, not just in moments of clear danger, but in the routine of life, ensuring our protection and safety. The reality is that we often don't see the full extent of how angels protect us. Many times we may go through life unaware of the invisible forces that surround us, keeping us safe from harm. It could be the car accident we narrowly avoid, or the illness that never fully materializes. These moments aren't just random occurrences. They are often the work of angels, keeping us out of harm's way when we might not even realize we're at risk. God's angels are constantly moving, acting as his messengers, intervening on our behalf and guiding us toward safety. Even in moments when we don't face immediate physical danger, angels continue to protect us in other, more subtle ways. They guard our hearts and minds, keeping us from falling into despair, fear, or hopelessness. When we are overwhelmed by life circumstances, angels strengthen our spirits, reminding us that we are not alone. They fight spiritual battles on our behalf, keeping us safe from the attacks of the enemy and helping us remain firm in our faith. This unseen spiritual warfare is just as real as the physical protection God provides, and angels are actively engaged in it, keeping us safe from the attacks that seek to destroy our peace and our purpose. Moreover, God's angels do not only protect us when we are at our weakest, they are also with us in times of strength, cheering us on and supporting us as we pursue the plans he has for our lives. In every step, whether in times of peace or turmoil, God's angels surround us, ensuring that his divine protection covers us. Even in moments of doubt or when we struggle to see God's hand, his angels are working to guide, guard, and direct us, demonstrating that his care and protection are unfailing. Angels are not just abstract ideas or symbolic representations of divine protection. They are real spiritual beings sent by God to fulfill his purposes in our lives. These heavenly messengers are more than just protectors. They are active agents of God's will, working behind the scenes to bring about God's plan for our safety, growth, and guidance. They are created beings specifically designed by God to serve his children in ways that often go unnoticed, yet their presence is essential to our spiritual well-being and earthly journey. In the Bible, angels are depicted as powerful beings, often working to deliver messages, provide guidance, and offer protection. They serve as God's messengers, delivering his words and warnings to people, helping guide them through times of decision or crisis. In the New Testament, angels play an important role in guiding Mary and Joseph, protecting Jesus, and ministering to the disciples. They don't act on their own accord or carry out their own agendas. They are always acting under God's command, fulfilling his specific purposes for our lives. This means that when God sends angels into our lives, they do so with a divine purpose, whether that purpose is to protect, guide, encourage, or strengthen us in our walk with him. Angels, as messengers, are also instrumental in revealing God's plans and helping us understand his will. Often, when we are faced with confusion or uncertainty, it is through angels that God speaks to us, guiding us toward his path. For instance, the angel who appeared to Mary to announce that she would give birth to Jesus didn't just bring a message. That message was a transformative moment in the history of humanity. Similarly, when we feel lost, discouraged, or unsure of the next steps in life, God may send his angels to offer subtle guidance, bringing clarity and peace that aligns with His purpose for us. In addition to delivering messages and guidance, angels also provide strength during our most difficult moments. The Bible recounts several instances where angels comforted people who were in distress. In the Garden of Gethsemane, as Jesus faced the weight of His impending crucifixion, an angel appeared to strengthen Him. This act of angelic intervention didn't take away the pain or the trial, but it gave Jesus the strength to endure what was ahead. In the same way, when we are at our lowest points, angels come alongside us to provide spiritual encouragement, reinforcing our faith and helping us stand firm when it seems like everything is falling apart. The role of angels goes beyond just physical protection and guidance. They are also engaged in spiritual battles on our behalf. As we face the spiritual challenges of life, from temptation to discouragement, angels are there, fighting battles that we cannot see. Their presence is a reminder that the protection of God is not limited to physical realms, but extends to the unseen world as well. Angels fight on our behalf, intervening in ways that safeguard our hearts, minds, and spirits from the attacks of the enemy. They are constantly working in the background, ensuring that God's plan for our lives is carried out, even when we don't fully understand the challenges we face. Through their divine roles, angels reveal to us the depth of God's love for us. They remind us that we are not alone in our struggles, that God is always with us, and that He has sent His angels to ensure that His will is accomplished in our lives. In every moment, God's angels are present, working tirelessly to protect, guide, and support us, reflecting the ongoing care and protection of our Heavenly Father. In our lives, it can sometimes feel as though we are walking through the wilderness, unsure of where we are headed and uncertain about how to navigate the difficulties that surround us. During these times, it's important to remember that God is never absent, even when we can't feel His presence. God is always working behind the scenes, orchestrating His plans for our lives, and one of the most powerful ways He does this is by sending angels to protect and guide us. The reality is that God's angels are actively involved in every moment of our lives, ensuring that we are never left to face our struggles alone. We might not always see it, but God's angels are at work every day, ensuring our safety and providing us with the strength we need to keep moving forward. It is easy to focus on the external circumstances, the trials we face, the pain we experience, and the struggles that seem to overwhelm us. Yet the truth is that God's angels are constantly at work, safeguarding us from dangers we cannot even perceive. There may be situations where we narrowly escape an accident, or we find ourselves in a situation that we should not have come out of unscathed, and we attribute it to luck or chance. However, these moments are not random. They are often the result of God's angels working on our behalf, shielding us from harm and ensuring that we are protected when we cannot protect ourselves. Even when things seem to be going smoothly, God is still working in our lives, ensuring that His angels are positioned to intervene when needed. His divine protection isn't just about preventing us from facing hardship. It is about walking with us through those hardships. The promise of God's protection means that He will never leave us to navigate life's challenges alone. Instead, He sends His angels to surround us, giving us the strength we need to endure and the wisdom to make decisions that align with His purpose for us. We can trust that in every moment, God is present and actively ensuring our well-being through the angels He has sent to protect us. There are also times when we face spiritual battles, where the enemy's attacks are not physical but emotional or mental. During these moments, God's angels are working to guard our hearts and minds, preventing the lies and discouragements of the enemy from taking root in our lives. We might feel anxious, fearful, or overwhelmed, but in these moments, God sends His angels to fight on our behalf, reminding us that we are never alone. They bring peace in the midst of chaos, and they help us stand firm in our faith when it seems as though everything is working against us. The power of God's angels is not just in their ability to protect us from physical harm, but also in their ability to shield us from the spiritual attacks that seek to steal our peace and hope. Even when we cannot see them, God's angels are actively involved in every aspect of our lives, providing us with divine protection, guidance, and strength. They are working tirelessly to ensure that we are never without help, and they intervene in ways we may never fully understand. Through their presence, God reminds us that we are loved, that He is always with us, and that His protection will never fail. Whether we are facing physical danger, emotional strain, or spiritual warfare, God's angels are there, working to uphold us and guard us through every trial. In life, there are moments when we face unexpected dangers or challenges that seem beyond our control. It might be an accident we narrowly avoid, a threat we don't fully understand, or a situation where everything seems to be spinning out of our grasp. Yet in the midst of these moments, there is often a profound sense of peace that washes over us, a calm that is unexplainable and comforting. This peace is not accidental. It is the presence of God's angels working in the background to protect us and guide us through life's uncertainties. When we face danger or fear, our natural reaction is often one of anxiety and uncertainty. We feel the weight of the situation and our minds race as we consider the worst-case scenarios. However, in these critical moments, God's angels are working tirelessly to ensure our protection. They intervene at just the right time, providing a sense of calm and reassurance. The peace we experience during these times is a reflection of God's care for us, and it may not always be a dramatic intervention, but in the stillness of our hearts we feel God's presence, and His angels stand guard, keeping us safe from harm. This peace that God provides through His angels doesn't always remove the difficulty we face. Sometimes the storm may still rage, and the challenges may still persist, but God's angels provide a deep, unshakable sense of inner peace that enables us to endure. This peace is a reminder that even when the circumstances around us seem chaotic or overwhelming, we are not alone. We are under the protective care of God's angels, and their presence brings a calm that transcends our understanding. In the midst of physical or emotional storms, God's angels bring a quiet assurance that no matter what happens, we are held in God's hands and safe from ultimate harm. The peace that God's angels bring is not just an emotional or psychological comfort. It is a spiritual peace that strengthens our faith. When we experience divine peace in moments of crisis, it serves as a reminder of God's promises and His faithfulness to protect us. This peace helps us to trust in God's sovereignty, knowing that He is in control and that His angels are actively at work, even when we can't see or understand their role. It reinforces the truth that while the world may be unpredictable and full of challenges, we have a divine protector who is watching over us at all times. God's peace, mediated by His angels, also helps us to navigate the spiritual battles that often accompany physical or emotional struggles. We are not just dealing with earthly challenges, we are in a spiritual war. And in these times, God's angels are there to help us stand firm in our faith. Their presence brings clarity to our hearts, reminding us that the battle is not ours alone to fight. The peace they bring allows us to focus on God's promises and His power, rather than being consumed by fear or doubt. In times when we feel overwhelmed by life's battles, God's peace, through His angels, empowers us to keep moving forward with hope and courage, knowing that we are never fighting alone. Through the subtle yet powerful presence of God's angels, we are reminded that His protection is ongoing and His peace is ever present, guarding our hearts and minds. Even in the midst of the most trying circumstances, the peace that God's angels provide is a testimony to His unwavering care and divine protection. God's protection through His angels goes far beyond the physical realm. While we often think of protection as keeping us safe from visible harm, the work of angels in our lives also extends to guarding our hearts, minds, and spirits. It's easy to forget how vulnerable we are to spiritual attacks, emotional turmoil, and mental exhaustion. The enemy's most subtle yet destructive tactics often target our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. In these times, God's angels step in to guard us from the things that threaten our spiritual well-being, offering protection that is not always visible but deeply felt. When we face doubt, fear, or discouragement, it can feel as though our very faith is under attack. We wrestle with uncertainty, wondering if God is really with us or whether we are strong enough to endure. In these moments, angels work tirelessly to keep us from being overtaken by negativity or despair. They protect our hearts from falling into bitterness or resentment, and they help us to stay grounded in God's truth. Through their divine intervention, they keep us from spiraling into anxiety or hopelessness, reminding us of God's love and His faithfulness to see us through. By guarding our emotions and thoughts, angels help us to maintain peace, even when everything around us seems to be falling apart. Angels also play a vital role in strengthening our faith. When we feel spiritually weak or distant from God, angels come alongside us, encouraging us to keep going. They work to keep us from straying from the path God has set for us, helping us remain steadfast when we are tempted to give up. Whether through moments of quiet inspiration or the stirring of our hearts to pray, the influence of angels can reignite our passion for God. Their presence reminds us that even when we feel isolated, God is actively engaged in our lives, working to ensure that our spiritual journey continues forward by protecting our faith and guiding us back when we veer off course. Angels serve as instruments of spiritual strength. When the enemy attempts to whisper lies or cast doubt into our minds, angels help us discern the truth. They guide us toward the Word of God, which stands as our ultimate source of strength and direction. They help us remember that we are not defined by our failures, our weaknesses, or our fears, but by God's promises. Through their influence, angels help us to reject the lies of the enemy and to hold fast to the truth that we are beloved children of God, worthy of His protection and care. They guard our hearts by reminding us that we are deeply loved, even when circumstances might suggest otherwise. In times of spiritual warfare, when the attacks of the enemy seem relentless, angels are there engaging in battle on our behalf. The struggles we face are not just physical, they are often spiritual battles that we cannot see, yet their effects are felt deeply. Angels fight these unseen battles, shielding us from the enemy's attempts to destroy our peace, our joy, and our faith. Their protection ensures that we can continue moving forward in God's plan for our lives, despite the attacks that may come our way. They provide a sense of spiritual security that allows us to remain strong in the Lord, even in the face of opposition. The protection of angels, therefore, is not just about safeguarding our physical lives. It is about ensuring that we remain steadfast in our faith, free from the spiritual dangers that seek to lead us astray. By guarding our hearts, minds, and spirits, angels work as faithful companions on our journey, helping us to grow stronger in our relationship with God and more resilient in the face of life's trials. They are indeed the unsung heroes in our spiritual lives, constantly working behind the scenes to shield us from harm and to lead us closer to the heart of God. When we are facing trials, whether in the form of personal struggles, physical challenges, or emotional hardships, it's easy to feel alone and helpless. Yet God promises that He will never leave us nor forsake us, and part of that promise includes the continual presence of His angels. These angels are not just messengers sent by God, they are His agents of protection, intervention, and care, actively working in our lives to fulfill His divine purposes. The reality of divine protection is not just a theological concept, but an everyday experience that God's angels bring into our lives. They are God's hands, guarding us when we are unaware, keeping us safe when we are vulnerable, and helping us to walk in His will. Even when we cannot see it, God's angels are present, surrounding us with divine protection. Life often brings unexpected challenges, some of which we never see coming. It could be a near miss on the road, an illness that miraculously doesn't develop, or an unexpected opportunity that changes the course of our lives for the better. These moments are not simply coincidences or lucky breaks. They are the results of God's angels intervening on our behalf. Their work is often invisible, and yet in hindsight we can see how God's hand was at work through His angels, ensuring that we were protected and guided. The role of angels is not limited to physical protection alone. They also safeguard our hearts, minds, and souls from spiritual harm. Life can be spiritually taxing, with attacks on our faith, our peace, and our joy. It's in these moments of vulnerability that God's angels work tirelessly to strengthen us, offering us inner peace and guarding us against discouragement. When we are tempted to despair or doubt God's goodness, angels bring reassurance and comfort, reminding us of the promises of God. They help us stand firm in our faith when we feel weak, empowering us to resist the enemy's lies and to trust in God's provision and care. God's angels also serve as protectors in the battles we cannot see. Many of our struggles are not only physical or emotional, they are deeply spiritual. The enemy often attacks us in unseen ways, trying to pull us away from God's plan and purpose for our lives. In these moments, angels are sent to fight spiritual battles on our behalf, intervening in ways we may never understand. Their protection goes beyond our understanding, keeping us safe from forces that seek to destroy our peace and our relationship with God. Through their protection, we can walk confidently, knowing that God is fighting for us and that His angels are at work behind the scenes. While the protection of angels is a powerful gift, it doesn't mean we will be free from all trials. Angels don't necessarily remove us from every storm, but they provide divine strength and guidance to navigate through the storms. Their presence in our lives offers us the courage to press forward, knowing that God's protection is with us at all times. They help us to endure hardship, to rise above fear, and to hold fast to hope when everything around us seems uncertain. The constant presence of God's angels is a reminder of His unfailing love and care for us. We may not always recognize the angels at work in our lives, but they are a constant presence, watching over us, guarding us, and guiding us toward God's purpose for our lives. Their protection is a sign of God's unwavering commitment to us, reminding us that no matter what we face, we are never truly alone. God's angels are His tangible reminder that His love surrounds us and that His protection will never fail. God's protection